Hi, this is the video for Daf Shevui, Daf Gimmel of Masechet Ketubot. Congratulations again for those of you who joined us starting last week on Masechet Ketubot. I just wanted to make sure everybody knows about a discussion group that we've opened on Facebook called Daf Shevui. I would really like to use this Facebook discussion group to foster deeper discussion about the material. Also, that if you have questions, people who know, people who don't know can ask questions, answer questions. It'll make my life a little bit simpler, so I don't have to send individual emails to everybody. And it'll also be a little better that we all discuss this together as opposed to acting as individuals. So go onto Facebook. If you're on Facebook, go onto Facebook, put in Daf Shevui. It's a closed group, which means you have to be approved. I will approve you, and then you can post or respond to posts on Facebook. So getting to our Daf, I wanted to go over one small part of it, as I usually do. On the bottom of Gimel Amud Aleph, responding to the Mishnah, Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak says, Lo Shanu, right? The Mishnah was only taught mi takanat Ezra ve'elach, from the time of Ezra the Sofer, who was the leader of the Jews when they returned from the Babylonian exile, and he was the one who established that the courts, or at least according to Jewish legend, he was the one who established that courts should sit on Mondays and on Wednesdays. So that Mishnah, Mondays and Thursdays, that Mishnah that assumes that a virgin is married on Wednesday so she can get to the court on Thursday is only from the time of Ezra and onward. She'en batei dinim kvuin ela b'sheni v'chamishi. When courts are only convened on the second day of the week and the fifth day of the week, Monday and Thursday. Aval kodem Takanat Ezra, before the Takanat of Ezra, Shebatei Dinim Kvuim B'chol Yom, when courts convened every day, Ishani Seit B'chol Yom, a woman was married every day. Now I should note how problematic this is. First of all, the Gemara asks a very important question, Mai Dahava Hava, right? What do we really care about what the situation was before Ezra established that court should sit on Monday and on Thursday? And this one statement, which appears a whole bunch of places in the Talmud, Mai Dahava Hava, really gets to the heart of something that the rabbis have very little interest in, and that is history. The rabbis did not compose historical works. By historical works, I mean works that are interested in trying to figure out as much as possible what actually occurred in history. The rabbinic literature, or almost 100% of rabbinic literature that we know of, is interested in the present and what we can learn from history. We are interested in biblical characters, not from the historical sense, but the rabbis were interested in biblical characters as dugmaot, both for as examples, both for good and for bad, as far as what we can learn to do in our day. They were interested in the theological messages from the Bible, and they were not interested in listing what kings were ruled in what period, how long things took, unless you can learn an answer from that. Later, commentators began to be interested in that stuff, and of course, in the modern period, Jews took a lot more interest in history, but that is much more of a modern phenomenon post, let's say, the emancipation of the Jews in the 1800s. So that's the first interesting thing. That comment, Mai Dahava Hava, is a great example of what the rabbis show that they just don't really care all that much about history. The second thing is that the statement itself makes very little sense. Ezra, according to legend, did not come and take a situation where courts were convening every day. Rather, what he did was take a situation where courts were convening haphazardly. On any given day they would sit, but we never knew ahead of time what days the courts would sit, and he limited it to Mondays and Thursdays and established fixed courts on Mondays and Thursdays. Again, according to legend, that is what Ezra did. So clearly the Gemara, which refines Rav Shmuel Bar Yitzchak's statement, getting to the heart of what he's really trying to say, and I'll finish with this comment, that in a place where women where courts convene every day, there is no more preference for a virgin getting married on Wednesday. And indeed, there are a lot of signs as we go through these sugyot that already by the Talmudic period, women, virgins, were not necessarily getting married on Wednesday. Widows were not necessarily getting married on Thursday. By the Middle Ages, most people were getting married on Friday for the very simple reason that meals were expensive. And if they wanted to combine the wedding meal with Friday night, the best way to do that would be to get married on Friday.